Today I had the opportunity to sit in on some training based on using mindset and strategy in the way that you grow and doing it in a sustainable way. All about based on getting out of your own way and figuring out what is at the heart of your business and what drives you. So I am connected here to a lot of business owners, a lot of self-employed folks, and we have had a lot of conversations on our business strategy development. So I thought I would share the way that I set goals and that I do it, the way that I do it to ensure that always the people that I'm working with are at the center of my goals, and that my business and my actions aren't propelled by sales-driven goals like financial output or number of sales or something like that. Okay, so here is a fairly simplistic and incredibly rudimentary drawing illustration of how you might define a goal and how it's connected to the actions that you do. So in a traditional goal setting scenario, you would choose, it often goes something like this. When I started real estate, I was told to decide how many transactions you wanted to close this year, or what your net income was supposed to be. And if you read a lot of traditional sales books, this is what they ask you to do as well. So a traditional real estate goal, for example, or anything sales driven, could be to close 40 transactions this year. Now, when you make a goal, really quickly, they should be these 5 things. They should be specific. So, 40 should be measurable. Again, that number is essential to that. They should be attainable. So something that is realistic. They should be relevant to the work that you do, and they should be able to happen within a regular time frame. So I like to use a year for my time frame. So when you have a goal, everything up here is signifying the objectives. So you'll always have objectives that are driving your goal. That is the measurable things that you do that propel you towards your ultimate goal. So I have 3 here. You can see what they are. Yours will be different depending on what you do. And then underneath those, you'll have strategies, which are larger actions that you're going to do to execute your objectives, which will lead into your goal. So mine, for example, are meeting 200 new people this year and talking about what I do, increasing my repeat referral business by 25%, and increasing my new client transaction rates by 25%. So when I do all of those things, it should feed into this ultimate goal right here. So where this gets tricky is when you have a self-driven goal. So closing 40 transactions this year that's important to me. That can get really troublesome sometimes when you're working with people and you're only working towards your goal. It's really easy to lose sight of the relationships that you're creating and honoring when that goal is all about you. So one thing I can do, if I replace that traditional goal with this, which instead of closing 40 transactions a year becomes helping 40 families or individuals improve their quality of life through buying or selling property. At the heart of my goal, I will always keep the people that I'm working with. So that makes sure that I'm not just trying to punch out transactions. It means that I am actually trying to meet with people, learn and hear what is important to them, honor that using my integrity and my ethics. And also, long term, this is what's going to help build those relationships that are going to keep your business being sustainable, because people will have a good experience with you where they actually feel like you have served them in a way that somebody else has not in the past, or that they don't believe somebody else can. Our strongest link in anything that we're doing, any business product or service-based business, is always going to be your repeat clients. That's where your strongest links are going to come in, and you're going to feel the greatest impact going forward in your sustainability. One other thing I wanted to mention when you're setting goals is to be super careful that what you're putting for your goal is not actually an outcome. So a lot of the times you'll ask people, like, what's your goal? What's driving you to do this? Where do you want to end up? And people will say, well, I want to make money, or I want to have increased choice in my life. I'm going to have financial freedom. Those are not goals. They are specific, but they're not necessarily measurable. They're not necessarily timely. So they are outcomes. When you reach this goal here, that is what's going to move into these outcomes. They're a little bit more longer term, and they're a little bit less fluid. They're just going to be there. Once you reach your goal, you're going to be able to maintain these things down here. So that's just one part of my business plan that looks a little bit different on a computer document than it does in this drawing right here. But it's just one way that I like to ensure that I'm always keeping the clients who I have the privilege of working with at the heart of my business.